OBS updated, so hopefully everything's working alright. One can hope. How is everyone today? Happy Labor Day, I guess. I don't know if this is really one of those holidays that you say happy in front of, though. Happy you have to work if you're in retail because everybody's having a sale day and it's not a real holiday. For those at the lower levels. I think that's why those of us at the lower levels prefer or so greatly enjoy Christmas, because usually most retail establishments are closed for at least a few hours. Anyhow, hope everybody's enjoying their weekend if they were off, and if you weren't off, well, hopefully it hasn't been too painful of a weekend for you. Alright. I decided on a different shade of green for the dark area of the grass, so we're back to work on this guy from yesterday. He's our current Bob Ross Needle Felt Along project. It's from Season 3, Episode 3, Joy of Painting. Bubbling Stream, even though I'm going to keep calling it Babbling Brook. For those that want to see the tutorial in full, that is where you're going to want to go. Yes. Sorry. I had messaged the husband about something that's probably going to affect my computer and our security camera. So I wanted to make sure that he saw that message. Alright. So, when we last left off yesterday, we had finished putting in the rock bed, and I did skip ahead and look at the end version of this again. And 2/3 of this is gone. So, I don't know, Bob. I don't know what you're doing. Alright, so, we're gonna hit play on the tutorial. Again, I have the tutorial muted. And it's pretty tiny down there in the corner, so if you want to watch that in full or hear the audio, please feel free to go to the link, because we're going to be doing a lot of pausing on it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play and see what the next step is in this. I still have to come back in and fuss with this grass up in here a bit. It's a little bit thinner than I really want it to be. Okay, so yeah, he's just kind of coming back in and adding some grassy doodles down this rock face here. Why are you grabbing white, Bob? Why? Well, you didn't add as much as I thought you were going to. Oh, he's just gonna jump right on in there. Okay. Well, I need to get my white then. We might have to watch a little bit more of this than I was anticipating. So he's started to put this in a lot sooner than I had expected him to, so that's way in the back. Okay. Alright, So I might have to do a little bit of blue in here with this white, just to get the point across on the white, maybe. Alright, so he does that. And then he's going back into... When's he come back and do the grass? Because the grass is all in there. Okay, there's the blue. Is when he starts doing that stuff. Ah! It's an ad. Shit. That was an unexpected ad set. Alright, then he kind of brings that down. So... I mean, he's got the reflections in. It's kind of hard to do the reflections with this, because it doesn't look right. I tried to do it the one time and it just... Because you can't really do it very subtly, or at least I haven't been able to master it very subtly yet. Okay, so he kind of puts that all in. So our stream's not gonna look quite the same as his, obviously. But he comes back in and does a shit ton more grass. When does he do that? I thought he did that before he put all of this in. Okay, now he's coming back into the green and stuff. Okay, then he starts coming back down towards all that. Okay. Alright, so... Okay. So he's kind of using that to frame that in. Alright, so we do have to do... I have to get up and get my white, so... I swear that looks like there's a little bit of yellow ochre mixing in with that. Alright, so it's kind of got that going on in there. Okay. So let's take it back a few steps here. I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of blue we want for that water, because I've got a few different blues now. I mean, we could kind of go with the sky color, but is that what we want to do? Because that really kind of looks more like a Prussian blue. Let me see, does he say? Yeah, let me see if he says what blue he picks up. Yeah, it is Prussian blue. Alright, I'm getting better at recognizing my colors. So, alright, let's back this up a bit here, Bob. I want to see where we're at here. So we're kind of like up into here. Like right around into here. I mean, his grove of trees is like more over here. He's got another multi-tree thing here, but I think we're gonna start somewhere up in here. Let me grab the white, because I didn't realize that that's where we were going. So let me get that real quick. Dark denim is like my most Prussian blue color, but I guess we'll go with denim, light denim. No, denim. It's kind of the tone that he gets when he mixes it in with the liquid white and that brown and stuff, so I guess we'll go with that. Alright. Now, okay. So I think I'm going to start out with a little bit of the cream here, just to give us a little bit of variation for the white to play off of. Alright. So, he kind of starts this like maybe like back into here. This is going to take a couple of passes, so bear with me here a minute. That kind of tapped in there. Actually, we're zoomed out a little bit. Let me see here if we can. It might be a little fuzzy, since we're quite so zoomed in, but I feel like that's the only way we're really gonna have any hope of seeing what we're actually attempting to do here. Now, I'm not holding this very tight. I'm just have it sitting kind of just threaded through my fingers. trim that. Come back in and make sure that these bottom pieces that we just trimmed away from are actually attached here. So remember, we're gonna come back in over this with some white here, so this part doesn't have to be quite perfect. That was a vehicle that just went by, apologies. Alright, now I am going to flip this up just a little bit, just to try to widen that out just a little. Okay, now I am gonna pop this guy up and just kind of re-smooth him out. So we're starting to sink in a little bit there, so that's a little better. Not quite as sunk in. Alright, let me grab the white. Running out of places to set stuff. Okay. Gave him a little bit of a comb there, just to kind of separate him out just a little bit. Alright. So this is the white. Just kind of grabbing the loose bits here that I can see. Probably can't see those loose guys because they are so fine on the camera. Just want to start to get that tapped in there. We still have an event going on in town, so traffic, even though it's a holiday, is probably going to be a little more pronounced. So, apologies. So we'll get that kind of worked in there. Now I'm going to trim this off. And just kind of get all of those loose ends tapped in here. While we're right here though, let me pause on that front. I'm gonna grab a little bit of our green fluff. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit. I just want to get some more of this area kind of filled in up in here before we get too far on the water. Just because that was kind of bugging me. It needed to be filled in just a little bit more for me. Before I finish putting in too much detail back on up in there. I'll get a little bit more of that. Alright. Hey, can you check the audio? Because OBS did an update. Just want to make sure we're still good. It actually wanted to update on me. Okay. Well, that's good then. I never know if something's suddenly gonna be undone. I don't like this new layout from this new update though. Everything looks extra big and obnoxious and I'm not quite sure why. I usually run it in a much smaller window than the full-sized one. Alright. I just want to kind of get that back section kind of filled in before I add in the direction for where this guy is heading off into. Alright, that's a little better. Okay, I know it looks a little fuzzy and distorted, but that's because of how zoomed in we are, and it's fluff, so it's gonna be a little bit fuzzy to begin with. So I need to add in just a little bit more of our white here. After I get those top edges anchored down, I can start to kind of scrape this out just a little bit. This is back with the white. And then we'll have like some bushy things over in here. Alright, again, I'm just kind of keeping my finger gently sitting on top of this just so it doesn't pull everything up in one huge bundle here. And kind of block the view a bit. All right. The lengths we go to try to get somewhat close, Or at least get the idea across that Bob is pulling off with paint. Not that easy in this format, I will say. It's a little bit of a challenge. All right, let's trim that down carefully. You don't want to cut the rest of your fluff that you don't want trimmed. Okay, so we'll get that all good and stuck down there. Right, again, this is just a process that I do just to kind of re-flatten everything out, just to try to reduce too many divots and things. That's more of a me thing than anything. Alright. So that's all white. We need to put in a little bit of a rapid here. Not really a rapid, but like a splash. So, gonna take a little bit of the cream color again and just kind of make some little poofy balls and just kind of tap them in around the base here of that little tiny mini baby waterfall, I guess you would call it. Snip some pieces off here, just some small pieces. This is still the cream that we're fussing with here. And I promise I am still working on the edit of the last project, Speed Felt. I've got 2 more live streams left to cut down. I was working on it for about 4 hours last night, like midnight, 12:30 till like 4 a.m. So the last live stream I had a lot of micro cuts in, so it takes a little bit. But I'm hoping to have that done within the next 2 weeks maybe, because I still have to export the final video cut and then add the audio and then do a final. My computer kind of gets mad when we start to get over the 2.5 hour mark on a video, so we're gonna try not to piss it off too much. So that one just felt a little too big there. Okay, let's put that in. But so far, I think that video is sitting at 2.5 hours. I think I've edited a lot more out than I did the first one, so I don't think we're gonna hit that 5-hour mark like we did on the first one. I think on the first one I just cut out any obvious long ass rants I went on and left a lot of other stuff in, being a little bit more picky on what I'm cutting out on this one. What am I hitting? There's like a hard spot in the mat there, or a tough spot, shall we say. Alright, maybe one more on that. And we'll come back in with the white on top of that. And we'll get that filtered in here. Alright, so grab some white. And we'll snip that down. So kind of like how we did the foam. Kind of how we did the foam on the weaves from the last one, where we were doing the little poofy balls to kind of make it look like some agitated water happening here. He kind of does a lot of these like little mini waterfall things. If you actually think about it and watch his stuff over the different seasons, there's actually quite a few of these guys in there. Alright, put this in here. I mean, you can tell it's a holiday because there's not nearly as much traffic as there would be, but the weather's not helping either. It's like threatening to rain. We heard some thunder earlier, and looked like there was some potential lightning in the area too at one point. Not sure if it's still quite there, but there was another thunderstorm forming in Oklahoma heading this way. At least we're not on a challenge character, right? So that doesn't really matter so much. So we got that in place. That's our first little rapid guy. Yes, so let me look at what we got next here. It looks like we've got another little section here. At the base of this one. And this one will probably widen it out just a little bit. As we go along here. So that's probably gonna be really hard to see because that's really thin. I can kind of see it. I think we need to get that layered up a little bit more. Ours is probably going to be a little bit wider than Bob's here. That nice and secure. You okay?
Oh yeah, no, I just forgot to give Momo his treat and the dirty look I'm getting right now.
Of course. Daddy. What the hell? You don't forget the pupper treat from coming back and from going potty. What do you think this is? I did the thing. Where's my reward? You can't stiff the pupper. Did that pot still have water in it?
Yes, I just checked.
Okay.
I topped off just a little bit, but for the most part it had plenty in it.
Okay. Alright, so we'll work on getting this part in here. And like I said, this is probably gonna be a little hard to see at first. I mean, you can kind of see it starting to fill in and take some shape here. We do have it pretty thinned out here. So like I said, this one's probably going to look a bit different compared to his. And he's kind of got this like kind of 3/4 view, but not exactly. Like, we're gonna have like a shrub here, right? We might need to beef that up just a little. I mean, we're just kind of doing the cream here as sort of like a base for under the white. Just so it's not quite so bright white. I think we might need a little bit more poofy doos in there. I mean, we could have put a little bit of the blue in there, but then that wouldn't quite fit, right? Because this is supposed to be a little bit thinner since it's kind of splashing down rocks and stuff. Alright, I'm just going to take those loose ends. They were a little too short to bother trimming. I'm just going to brush them back upward. And just kind of retack them in there, and then when we bring the white back in, that'll help get that all sorted out. Alright, and again, this is just something that I do just to try to re-flatten any little valleys that may have appeared that I really didn't necessarily want in there. I thought I had some more white. I think is this white or is this cream? This is white. Okay. Let me grab a little bit of the white again. And I'm just gonna come back in up here. And just try to kind of get the point across that this turns. Well, that's what we're going to try to do. Don't know if it's actually going to work, but we'll try. Probably need just a little bit more in that one spot where the green's kind of pushing through there. Alright, so we'll get that kind of tucked into there. Okay, that does kind of leave that a little bit more of a thin look in there, though. Alright. Let's see if we can work on getting that kind of evened out just a little bit. Still feel like we need just a little bit more of the white up into there. let me pop this guy up. Oh yeah, I've got a lot more white and cream poking through in that spot now, huh? Certainly seems like it. Alright, let me just kind of grab any of our loose fuzz here. Get those in the little trash can guy. Alright, we still have a little bit of a dip in there, but probably not a whole lot I can do about that. So, alright, this guy is gonna need a little bit more cream, I think. Just to kind of get that filled in a little bit. So yeah, like I said, it's not going to be an exact to his, but if we can at least try to get something similar, then, you know, I'll be happy. Yeah, this needs a few more poof balls, I think. Doesn't seem like it has quite enough in there. But, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, let me just kind of get that. Attempt to flatten that out. I mean, although, like, the little divot might be working for us in the long run. Alright. This section was a little bit folded up on itself. I'm just gonna take a comb and just kind of comb this piece a little bit, just to get them a little bit more not really thinned out, but perhaps lined up is what I'm looking for, or is the word I'm looking for. Get it a little bit more, you know, the strands all lined up and sort of behaving. I do have a little bit of a tail there, so I'm just gonna kind of fold him up and twirl him into there. So I wanted to add a few more rapidy poof balls anyway. Alright, just gonna trim that out. And I'm gonna come back and just make sure everybody is still well and attached. trying to get kind of right up under there. If I can't quite get it, that's fine. I want to add some more little splashy things anyway. So we're back onto the white color now. The cream was the color that we put down first. And we're kind of working on that second little waterfall splash zone, I guess we'll call it. Right now, this one's getting a little extra thin here, so just gonna fold that up over on itself. For getting that tucked into there. Alright, and this guy's kind of a little short to be trimming off there, so I'm just gonna fold him up like we did before. And get him in there. I am gonna pop this up because we do have quite the valley forming here. And this just might be one of those ones that does that because we've got it happening up here a little bit. Alright, I am going to take a little bit of our cream again though. And I'm going to snip off a couple of sections here. Alright, so I'm going to do another Kofi guy here. I mean, it's kinda doesn't look anything at all like it, but we're having fun. And that's the most important part, right? So getting that tapped in there. I think maybe one more, maybe two more Kofi bits here. And we'll get that all sorted into there. We're gonna have to come back in with some more white, I'm sure. But I'm adding the cream just to make it a little bit It's gonna sound funny, but I'm adding a little bit of the cream just to kind of make the water look a little dirty, so that it's picking up some of the color from the rocks and maybe some sediment that's coming along downstream with it, you know, that kind of thing. Now let's go back to our white here. Actually, let me pull the white off of the comb. That's already kind of poofed. And I'm gonna snip that poof ball in half a bit here. And we'll start to get that worked in. Okay. So we don't want the, I mean, this should be able to have a little bit of white to it in the splashing. I just didn't want it to be all white or all cream, because that just seemed kind of silly in my brain. Alright. And we'll get that tacked in there. Oh, hey, they took down the traffic thingy. I wonder when they did that. I wonder if they did it this morning. I just realized I'm not hearing the dun-dun of the cars going over the stupid little car tracker, car counter. We didn't have that up for very long. Like maybe 3 days. If that. Huh. Interesting. Alright. So we'll get this done. Alright, I am going to flip this up and kind of take it back upwards just so I don't have to, I'll probably still have to do an additional layer here, but kind of no point in trimming it if I'm just going to lay it back down on top. kind of, sort of. Alright. So get that worked in. Alright, so that's kind of coming to life there. Ever so slowly. And some of that divot might go away once we start filling in the grass around it too. So alright. Back to the white. Again, this is not something that you have to do, it's just something I'm doing just to kind of get this a little bit more manageable in this spot because of how I want the water to look. Like with his fan brush, you can see like the different kind of strands and stuff, and we won't be able to necessarily pull that off exactly this way, but you know, if I didn't mess it up, but it's a start. And we might be able to get the impression across a bit. Which is really the main goal. White fluff everywhere. Okay. So we'll get this tapped in. And his has a little bit of the rock peeking through under it. Not a whole lot. So I'm not sure how thick we're gonna take this bad boy. Alright, so just kind of grabbing the loose strands of that white and just kind of twirling them in at the base of that. Just making sure everybody up There's actually good and attached. Alright, now okay. Let's see what we got going on here. So we've got that. Alright, let's go ahead and grab a bit more of our cream here. And again, we're just going to snip off some sections. And then just kind of twirl them in your fingers to get a little ball. Just gonna start to, again, work that in around the base of that one. Our second guy here. Just trying to give the impression of movement. Not a completely easy task. Let's grab another bit of cream here. Alright, I am just kind of retwirling that just a little bit so we don't have quite so many loose strands all over the place here. Alright. So, hope everybody's having a good day. Hope your weekend was well. I hope you got to do something that recharged you, whatever that may be. I know some people just, they can't sit still. They just can't. They've got to be doing something. They've got to constantly be going. Constantly on the go. Doing something. So, if you were one of those people, I hope you managed to find something to keep you busy. piece of this, maybe 2. Because that looks a little lopsided there. Actually, quite a bit lopsided. We might bring some more white back down into there, just to try to even that up just a little bit. It actually kind of looks like it should be a little bit whiter anyway. So let me grab some of that. Alright, let's see here. And this one, I'm just gonna kind of jump in here. And I'm kind of in the middle of this strand of fluff, but I feel like we're okay. Should be just fine. Alright. Probably bring some grass down into there. Alright, I am gonna trim that just because I don't think I can move it over without it looking a little too weird. Alright, that looks a little more filled out there. Alright. This all tapped in. And I'm just trying to make sure that we've got all of our loose ends there picked up and dealt with. And it kind of looks like we have for the most part. Okay. I mean, we still have that bit of a divot there. It's gonna drive me crazy, but not a whole lot we can do about that at this point, so. I'm just gonna take some of that fluff that we had combed out earlier. I mean, don't throw that away if you go through to separate your strands out a little bit further. Whatever comes out in the comb, hold it. It's still very usable. Like, I'm not throwing it away by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just sitting it to the side. Alright, so now we've got to do our white fluff that we got happening here. Get that mixed in with our cream color. And since this piece is so small, it's just easier to drop it down on there and then slowly start to attach it on. I'm just going to move this over just a little bit on the pad here. Careful when you're doing the poofs, because sometimes they can be a little bit tougher to get the needle through, so just don't like jam the needle in there. You could snap the needle. Just be a little bit more gentle but forceful. And if you're having too hard of a time getting the needle through it, then just go ahead and make a thinner poof. Because maybe your little poof was a little too robust, shall we say. Okay. I just want a little bit more white here. Don't need a whole lot, but I would like a little bit. Alright, so while I am stretching that out, just gonna check on something real quick here. Alright. So we're gonna have to pop the tutorial forward a little bit further. To see what we've got in store next for us here. Those two little bits of white off of there. Alright. This is just a big old pencil sharpener of mine since we have a larger area that we're trying to flatten out here. I mean, again, once it's in a frame and all, it really won't be that much of an issue. And like I said, once we start coming back in and getting the grasses in here, that might help to flatten that out as well. So we've got the one little waterfall. Oh, he did a second. Oh. Oh well. Ours doesn't have that. That's fine. Alright, so we've got one more little rapid. We could do that in here, I guess. And then he's gonna do the little rapidy guys down into there. So he's gonna add the watercolor in here. Can I get your hand out of there? No, your hand's just gonna... There we go. Had to manually find it. That's fine. Alright. So, let's come back in with the cream. Get the white off of there. I'm just going to comb the cream out just a little bit. I mean, I don't really need to do this part. I just am. Just to get it a little bit more under control here. So we're gonna have this coming. A little bit more this way, and then down. If I'm kind of interpreting this correctly. Now, before we get too carried away, I'm gonna have to bring in the blue to kind of come up into here, because we've got that yellow to contend with there. So actually, I think we might pause on that. So he's kind of like all over the place on this one. And I want to get some of this blue in. We might not put all of it in just yet, but I want to get some of it in place. just so we can start to bring that water down into there. I mean, it's not a bad substitute for the Prussian blue. I mean, it could be a little bit darker. I just don't have this kind of faded out blue that's in between this and like navy. So navy was much too dark for this. So we'll hit this one up instead. And I would have preferred to have had this color in long before, but for some reason he waited till now, and he's like not like doing everything in order on this one. Sometimes he does jump around a little bit. And I mean, I guess I can kind of see why he just started like going with the waterfall and like bringing it down. And he got to the bottom, he's like, oh, we need to put the other watercolor in. Okay, well, let's do that. And then we can come back and finish off the waterfall. And then we can come back and finish off this. So, I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, alright. Wow, my left hand doesn't even want to do that very well, does it? Alright, let me just, I want to check on something real super quick here. Oh, we didn't end up getting that storm. It went south of us. Alright, that's what I was kind of expecting to happen. It's one of those days where it looks like it's gonna downpour any second. And you're waiting, and you're waiting. And it just doesn't. We could use some more rain though. We hardly had any snow last winter. And then it was actually a pretty dry summer. Especially with it being quite so hot. Like, I'm okay with little tiny hints of this yellow peeking through in certain spots, because, you know, could be maybe some yellowy coloration to the rocks, but And we're starting to get down here into our watery area. That's going to be a little bit more of a nuisance to deal with. I'm gonna see about getting some embroidery hoops when I go hunting for the remaining supplies that we need for the gingerbread house in probably the beginning of October. And I might try to do a couple projects that I can sort of quote-unquote frame in the embroidery hoop. So we'll see how that goes. Now this is probably going to need a few passes on this blue. To get this filled in a bit. Enough where we can at least finish off the waterfall here. But again, you know, you want to take your time. Don't super rush it. Alrighty. I mean, it'll get there. Most definitely. So yeah, so I mean, it's coming along. Looking at it on the whole, once we get, you know, we take a step back. I think I actually want this blue to come up just a little bit higher, just to help cover up any of that yellow that we've got peeking underneath here. But let's get this piece we are working on here at the moment all good and stabbed through here. Before we start adding on some more fluff to deal with. and we'll get back to finishing up that waterfall. I'm not going to do all of the water at the moment. I want to get the base of this waterfall in first before we start doing crazy stuff. I don't want to just abandon the middle of the waterfall when I said we were going to work on grass, and we haven't really gotten to any of that, unfortunately. Bob had other ideas that I did not realize were going to happen. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll be doing this now. Nope, no we won't. Bob surprised us. Alright, I can grab a little more of our blue stuff here. Lost my implement there for a second. I was like, where did it go? Only I could lose it by putting it where I normally do. Hey, could you check that thing for me?
Mm-hmm.
With it being in the different pot, I'm a little paranoid about it. Running out of water unexpectedly. Let's see, that's been cooking, I guess about an hour and a half. Okay. Maybe a little bit longer. Not much more than that. So I mean, this right in here will probably be covering up with the poof balls. So that might be alright. Or at least that's what I'm starting to tell myself. Alright, so we'll get this kind of tapped up into here. We got that going. Anyway, okay. So, what time did we start anyway? Not sure. I guess we started around 3:30. So we started a little early. Not too early, but a little. Alright. That should be probably like a good enough bit of blue down. For that section. Just want to make sure that we are actually well and truly woven together here before we start laying down the rest of this waterfall. I don't want any mysterious splits opening up, although we probably should put just a little more blue in there. To be perfectly honest, since it's gonna be near where the splashy things are going to be happening. All right. Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit more for right now. Have to be a huge amount, but yeah, I think that would probably be a wise decision. More than likely. Alright. Oh, sorry, had to stretch. My neck and my shoulders and everything was starting to fuse into one position. We don't want that to happen. I think it's the weather. It's been a very desperately achy to stretch kind of day, and no amount of stretching seems to fulfill the need. It's just not doing it. Alright, this guy is so thick. It's just refusing to lay flat at all. I guess it'd be this guy. Alright, so let's get back into our if I can grab it again, let's get back into our waterfall here. Alright, so we're gonna Trying to get that tapped in right up under there. Now this is the cream color. Kind of back in with this guy. So kind of turning him gently. As we start getting this section attached on down in. Now because of that little bit of extra yellow hanging out there, I'm gonna bring that kind of down to the water edge, even though I have plans for putting the poof-a-doos in there. Because you know, it's how we do. Alright, so let's snip gently and carefully so we don't snip anything that we don't want snipped. Start to get this put in here. Alright, now I want to fill this in a little bit more. Just to make sure that we've got that all well and covered. It doesn't have to be super perfect because we still have the white that we're gonna come back in with. So don't forget about that. I don't know if I want this split to be in here, because now that I'm starting to put it in, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess that kind of works. I mean, well, I'll try to give it a chance. And we'll see what happens here. I mean, we do have a bit of the yellow poking through in that spot. So, no. I mean, hey, maybe we could put a tuft of grass there if we really hate it. It's a little bit of a section of grass that's just trying to grow right there in the middle. I mean, at this point, we can always just come back and cover it over. If we really hate it that much. We'll see, though. I mean, I might have to come back in and exaggerate it a little bit. Maybe. We'll have to see. How that starts to play out there. So next up, we'll have to grab a little bit of the white, I guess. I really don't have any comparable brown to shove in there. Again, that's just to kind of get the strands more strandy. Well, that really didn't make much sense, but it's alright, just go with it. You'll see. Actually want that to come a little bit more of an angle there. Before we start dropping back down straight. I think that's probably a good spot for that to start. We'll get that popped in. let me pull these pieces from up top down a little bit. I think I want to get some more poofy doos up in there, just so they're not quite as big of a gap for that too. And drop down into there. Right now I just want to kind of cover up that bit of yellow. Right, so all of that seems pretty well attached. Alright. I mean, it still needs more, but it's definitely moving in the right direction, I think. Oh yeah, it's a bit of an angle there. It's a bit of a weird angle. So maybe some poof doos will help with that. Let's see if we can thicken this up a little bit. I think we'll probably still have to do some more poofy guys up in there. But that should probably help to some degree. Alright. Can't possibly make it worse. Sorry, I've got a knot. Don't know how that happened, but it did. Fascinating. And then get to about there. Start angling over. Okay. That's not doing too bad there. Still feel like maybe we need to bring in maybe a little bit more white in here. Just because I feel like in that section could be a little fussy. With that bit of yellow. I might actually come back in with a little bit more brown. And kind of fill that spot in. Just a little bit. Sorry, my brain stopped. I was trying to think of two different things I wanted to do at the same time, and I was like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Alright. Let me get another little hoofed guy. Go in there. I just don't like that gap. That's kind of floating up in there. Alright. Now, let me see. I don't feel like digging through all that. One second. Let me go grab the brown. Oof. Good time to stretch. Or try to. Surprised there's so many motorcycles out today with the weather. Not exactly the greatest day to be out doing that. I would think. Alright. So. Grab just a teeny bit of the brown here. Sorry, I'm running out of room to put bags of fluff here. We get this guy kind of reworked into here, right? Just to kind of try to cover up some of the gaps in there. And I might actually take some of that, some of this white, right? Get it real super thinned out. Just to kind of be like, oh yeah, that's kind of just dripping down. In that area. Sorry, I keep forgetting I need to not have that hand in the way. Now, as I actually make sure these guys are attached, a lot of that might just kind of melt into the background there, so I might need to do a little bit more adjusting here. I will say, I don't know what it is about this particular piece of felt. Maybe it's because it's a little bit of a softer weave. As I've seen some soft felt that's felt stiff. I wonder if that's why the back of this one feels quite so fuzzy. Like it feels like more of the fluff is coming through on this one, on the back side of it. I don't really think we've got that many more layers than we normally would. I don't think so. I could be incredibly wrong about that. Sorry, I'm just trying to thin this out just a little bit. Don't want this super thick by comparison to like the other stuff on the sides here. But I do kind of think there'd be some kind of like small trickle at least over this middle section. To some degree. Alright, that's kind of melted in there. We'll see if we have to make it a little less obvious once we get back in there with the other colors. Alright, so I'm just making another poofy ball. Just trying to, get the impression there that this is moving water to some degree here. I feel like one more little poofy guy right on in there. Now we still have to put our poofies in there too, so. Goodness, okay. And gather up all of the loose fuzzes. We don't want to cause any color contamination. Alright, so I think we're okay with this. Alright, now gonna need, yes, we are gonna need a little bit more lights. Doubt we'll need that whole entire chunk, but you never know. Okay. So let's work on getting this guy. I'll sort it out into here. I am gonna trim this guy. Because he's a little much to do what we need to do next. Like, I really didn't want to try to slide him over in the state that he was. Alright, so we'll get this side of the waterfall worked in here. At least that's the idea here. Sorry, I was just trying to grab those loose ends there. Now, I think we're gonna head back to Poofball Town. And start putting those in. Start to get that lined in here. Hold on, let me go. Alright, so Bob puts all of the. Well, he doesn't put all of it in, but that's because there's more. Spoiler alert, there's more land coming. Okay. So he's gonna. The more land is coming in a little bit. Not today. We won't be getting that far today. So we are 2 hours and 20 minutes in today, and we're still not onto the grass that I wanted to be working on, so. That's a thing. It's always the way it goes, though. It's like in my brain, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to be working on this part today. And then, by the time we get back in here, I'm like, oh, really? This is what we're doing? Oh, I gotta be careful with that. I keep flicking that up towards my face. Don't do that. don't do what I do. Try to make sure that you keep your sharp impaling implement pointed away from your face. Alright, so this is just more of that cream color. So I'm going to try to get some of our poofy guys here. I'm doing the cream again just to, you know, so it's not all bright white. Because in my brain it wouldn't be. We'd be picking up some kind of dirt or sediment, or even just the way the light's hitting it. It wouldn't be all solid white. Well, it kind of works. I think it looks better with like the little water drips coming down in between them there. Like, I'm not so sure it would work if that wasn't there. I don't know if I should add any of the blue into the poofs here. I mean, maybe not. Now we are going to have to come back in and add more blue to in here before we can fully finish out the base of this. More into that spot. Now I'm gonna pull this guy up. And just kind of try to re-flatten him out just a little. Alright, so we got that kind of happening there. I'm just gonna kind of twirl this strand of cream I've got going here just a little bit to make him a little bit more manageable. I might need to take some of this like around the entire base of this. It might look funny having the gap in the middle. Let's see how things look here, though. I am gonna split this strand down just a little. Probably split those strands down a little bit further too. They seem a little big for where we're at currently. Split that one in half a bit. Was she using the oven, do you know?
I have no idea.
If she's not, can you put that on 425 for me? Alright, so I mean we still have to bring in the white poofy doos, so don't wanna completely
Sorry, what temperature?
425.
Okay, I thought I misheard. Okay, it's warming up.
Thank you. You okay?
Yeah, relatively.
Okay. So we'll get this guy kind of flipped into here. And then this guy. Get it kind of in here. And I think maybe one more floofy do we'll get on into here. At least in that shade. Okay, no. Alright, so we still have our big chunk of white here, so I'm gonna just gonna roll that together here. That one over there. Just gonna get some sections trimmed off. And start to get some of the white poofy doos worked on in here now. That pot still had water in it, right? Num num? That pot still had water in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now. Get this one put into here. Were you watching an actual live?
Yeah, it was live.
Okay. What were you watching?
Just a gamer playing an old game.
Sorry, I saw his screen and it looked vaguely familiar, but not at the same time. Like, it reminded me of Planet Zoo, but at the same time it's not Planet Zoo. Very much not. Alright. Just working on getting our little splashy doodles in here. We got the cream ones in. I'm just working on getting the white ones in place now. I mean, we gotta have both colors. Since we had both colors throughout the waterfall itself, we really need to have them both in there at the base, I feel. So just twisting some more of this white. Again, just to get it a little bit more manageable. Husband's being mauled by the puppy. Well, not actual puppy, but they're always puppies, right? The old man Zuzu, who's actually graced us with his presence for the moment. I don't know why, but he's been staying in my parents' room. I don't know what the deal is, because I don't know if he's just getting more snacks in there, or what the deal is. Maybe the cats don't jump on the bed on top of him in there, that could be. Cats like to be dicks in here and they'll just jump on the bed, and he likes to get under the blankets. And he gets so upset when a cat lands on top of him. Or when they even walk near him to smell the lump in the blanket because they're like, what is this? Like, instantly start shaking and whining. And I'm like, dude, it's just the cat. You've played with this cat before. Like, calm down. It's gonna be okay. So we're almost done with the poof deuce. In this section here. Probably need to bring a couple of them up there. So I mean, we do have a bit of an angle happening here. That kind of happened by accident. Not sure if I can really do too much to fix that. Might be able to. Maybe. Do we want to fix it though? I mean, it does look kind of funny. If we bring this down a little bit further, probably do something with it. Probably. Might be able to at least get it a little bit more. Sorry, it looked like there was a piece of fuzz stuck on the end of the needle to me, but I think it was just the way the light was reflecting off of it. I was like, what is that? So if we copy you into there, and maybe you into there. I mean, we still have a little bit of that angle going on there. I just kind of realized we didn't put any of the white poffadoes on the other side of the waterfall here. Like, we don't have them like up at the base here. I think we're just gonna have to live with it being on that angle. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it just kind of makes it look like this side's falling down a little bit further back and this side's jutting forward a little. I can kind of live with that. Perhaps our little alcove here is just misshapen.
You know, I'm gonna wrap them in tinfoil and put them in.
No, can you just stab them and like 5 or 6 times on each side and then put them on a cookie sheet?
Okay. Sheet go in?
Yeah. Like if you want to put a piece of foil on the sheet and then put those on top of it, but you don't need to wrap them in foil. Did you want to put one in for you or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. Sorry. I'm having baked potatoes with my dinner tonight, and they're big guys, so they're gonna take a little while. Just want to get those started. The rest of dinner's started, but that's still probably gonna be another hour and a half before that's ready to go. I might try to do the last box of gingerbread cookies tonight. Maybe. I don't know. Gotta see. Alright, I think... I mean, we're gonna need more white at some point, but I think we're gonna... See, the waterfall's pretty good there. So I'm gonna stick the white bag of fluff over yonder. Thought I had pulled a piece. Oh, I guess this is the piece that I pulled off. Alright, so I'm gonna get back into our grass here. So remember yesterday I wasn't quite happy with that dark shade. I found a different darker shade that I think suits this lighter shade a bit better. I mean, we'll find out, of course, as we go along here, but see about getting this kind of worked in here. Get that darker bit in there. Now I know he kind of went more light, and we're gonna go light too. Now I'm gonna just kind of bump him forward just a little bit, because now he's starting to put a little bit of the grassy stuff in here, and just trying to get that kind of worked in. So let's see, can we, no, I don't want the land yet. That might be as good as we're gonna get with what we have to work with here, because he has a couple little lighter spots and, you know, some darker spots. So we've got this shade of green, and then I've got like a more yellowy version of this too that we can kind of get worked in there. I don't want it too striped. It's one of the risks we run. By coming back in and doing it this way. I really do want to get some more of this grassy stuff put in here a bit. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. It's not quite as minty as that one I was thinking of using yesterday. This feels like it's got a bit more maybe white and yellow. This feels more of like a lime, like a inside of the lime kind of color. Like the fleshy color, not the skin color. Just gonna a little bit of that in, you know, some patches of that here and there would be more than fine, I'm sure. Maybe also have our darker guy here too. Just gonna kind of lay this down in here and try to tap it in the spots that I definitely want covered, and then we'll see, you know, how it gets pulled down and where things kind of go from there. Again, I don't want it too, I don't want it too stripy, you know? So we'll have to, you know, go slow and do this a bit sparingly at first as we get this worked in. And don't forget to keep trying to follow your angles of your hill here. Don't suddenly start going straight, because that's gonna look funny. Where's that brighter green? I'm gonna give it just a bit of that. And I'm gonna try to tuck a little bit of that down into there. And this is definitely a phase where you want to keep coming up for air, so to speak, and make sure that you're looking at what you've got going on, just so you don't get too carried away. Like we don't want to get rid of all of our rocks that we labored so hard over here, our rocky ground. More something in there, maybe a little touch of our dark green. Not a whole lot. I don't want to lose what we've put in here so far. So we'll try to scrape that a little bit just to spread it out before we start stabbing. And then when you think you've got it to your desired placement, I guess, and kind of go ahead and go for it. I am going to pop this guy up here and just kind of spread him out here a little bit. Now that we're getting back into this area near the waterfall. Just so we don't have quite so many divvy things happening in here. Alright, let me grab some more of this like toned down limey color. Alright, so we'll work on maybe just putting a little bit of some highlight in here. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. This is that sort of mid-range green that we've been using a good amount of. Now I'm okay if we've got some of the camel or even a little bit of the yellow popping up in here, because then it just kind of adds to maybe some dirt or some of the maybe some dead grass or something, or like a lighter spot on the rocks or something. Alright, you go that way. Okay. Let's grab a little bit more of this. And I think I kind of want... gonna anchor it in like one spot and then kind of just gently scrape it up. Just to kind of help get that just stretched out a little bit. I do think I want to grab a little bit more of our dark color here. Snip a bit of that off. Alright. Kind of want a little bit more of this darker section in here. So Bob says don't cover all the rocks, but he covered a good portion of them in the end. But we're gonna try not to get too carried away here. Alright. I'm gonna split this strand just a little bit. kind of work on getting that kind of worked into there. Actually, that could have been a little bit. That could have been a little bit longer. Give some lighter blades of grass a little bit of a chance to be poking through, or maybe there's some sun filtering in into that spot. Alright, let me pull this guy up here. And I'll try to get this re-flattened out here. Just a bit. Grab any of these loose bits of fuzz off the edge, just to keep them from getting to be too much of a mess later. Alright, so that's not looking half bad. I think I want to bring a little bit more of this green into here, I think. Okay, give me 1 second. I will be I'll be right back. 1 moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to check on dinner there for just a second. Okay, so let's grab a bit more of our mid-range green, and I'm gonna remember to hide that now that we're back. There we go. Alright, so let's kind of get that worked in there. Slight separation showing up between the waterfall and the rocks there, peeking through. So I definitely want to nip that in the butt. So I'm going to grab some of my dark green here. Gonna get that worked into there. because we don't need that to be an issue for sure. So, no thanks. Alright, I am going to pop this back up again because I do want to see how we're doing here. I mean, we've got quite a ghostly image happening on the back. It's like a foggy scene happening down in there. Alright, grab a bit more of our mid-range green here. Where did Little get a clothespin?
Sorry, what was that, dear?
Where did Little get a clothespin?
Oh, I think I dropped on the floor at one point.
Can you get that? Because she tries to chew the metal piece off of there.
Oh, that's not aware. Is she playing with it now, or?
It was in the middle of the kitchen floor. I mean, I could have been down and pick it up, but my back is killing me. And I didn't know if it was there for a reason, so. Alright, let's see here. That kind of worked into there. So this is just gonna end up being like placement preference at this point. Down both sides of where, you know, you kind of want things to be without making all of your rocks and things vanish. 'Cause you don't want to do that. I mean, we worked hard on those. So we don't want them to completely go away here. But there's no reason why we can't have. That was a very loud truck. That was one of the loud, obnoxious pickup trucks in town. There's 2 or 3 that sound the same that travel by this house regularly. Yeah, so I mean, we don't want to kill all of that. But, you know, we also want to get it to where we're happy with it. So we are getting to work on some grass today. We won't be finishing all of the grass today, most likely, but we are getting to work on some of it. Just took us a while to get there. That's all. I'm not sure how many more sessions we'll have on this one. I might only have one more week to go, but that might depend really on a few things. I mean, we still have to get this in, so maybe 3 more sessions. I'm really not sure yet. We're technically about 15 minutes into the 26-minute tutorial. So we're a little over halfway at this point, I'd say. Alright, let me pop this guy up here. I'll try to re-flatten him out. We definitely have some grassy fields coming in on this side, don't we? Some grassy riverbanks. Whoop. I don't want that to open. That would be one heck of a mess starting there. So that's my pencil sharpener. Or at least my Prismacolor one. We haven't done this one in a little bit again yet, so let's see about maybe getting a bit of view in here now. I don't want to use this one too much. I think we can get a little bit more of it in here. Because yeah, I mean, we don't want to get it too stripey looking. So we do have to keep thinking about that and placement and stuff. Alright, I'm gonna take a little bit more of our dark guy here. And he's not super dark. I did grab the hunter green just in case, but I think that would not... We don't have that kind of deep shadow happening in here right now, so I think that would have been probably too much, you know? Wasn't really feeling like that was gonna work. I did bring it over just in case, but I think this darker green definitely fits in here better for what we've got going on. At least so far. I mean, we do have to get a lot more of this mid-range green in here. I think I definitely want to add more of that. I think I'm gonna let some of this our brown kind of melt up in between those strands there in that spot. Just to, like I said before, give it kind of like grass starting to brown kind of feel in certain spots. Or maybe there's just a bit more dirt in those sections. Now I am going back over some areas a little bit more than others in here, and I'm just trying to make sure that all of those little strandy guys are good and attached so we don't have any little wispies trying to escape. Alright, this I'm actually going to cut in half. That feels a bit big for in there. I'm going to take you that way. Now he's got a bit more of a rock edge along this thing, and I do have some rocks coming through, but I still feel like in some spots for ours we would have some grass running down to the edge. I think it would be possible for little tufts here and there tucked in among the rocks at the very least. To be surviving along in there. So they do have water splashing on them. And I don't think the water's all that rough in there. Where I don't think the water would be a factor in keeping that from growing. I don't think that would be an issue. That's where we're currently sitting. So, and yeah, so once we started getting this stuff kind of put in, then this divot kind of got better. So that's what I figured would happen, because now we're kind of pulling it back the other way from it. That was a very vibrating vehicle. Alright, let's see. We don't have too much of this color. Probably shouldn't have a lot of this color, but still kind of feel like we'd have a little bit of it kind of peeking around in spots. At least just a little bit. So let's grab a bit more of our green here. And we'll work on getting that guy all good and tucked into place here. Doggo getting a drink. Their food and water bowl is like right behind me, so that's gonna be a thing. At times. Alright. Get this all carefully worked into the riverbank here. Grab this little guy. So for the grass, I'm gonna try to just hold it till I anchor it. And then once we've got it anchored in one spot, we'll start. Take the finger away. And then kind of see what it wants to do here. Just to give it a little bit more of a less fussed look, I suppose. If that's quite possible. Alright, I do want to... I don't think I have any more of this one cut. Sorry, I was trying to feel around the other side of the mat, because sometimes I'll have pieces stick to it without realizing it. Alright, I want to get a little bit more of this darker shade into here. And so far, I think we're doing all right. All of the loud vehicles. It must be loud vehicle o'clock. That one didn't quite sound like the same one earlier. Could have been similar, but like I said, there's a couple of them, so sometimes it's a little hard to differentiate who's who. Guy in around the waterfall edge there. Don't know if that's gonna quite do what I was hoping it would, but we'll see here in a second. And I go to lift this up to check on how we're going here. Alright. So again, we'll just kind of try to flatten this guy out a bit. we're getting there. I mean, our edges over here is still a little wonky wonk, but again, that's gonna happen. That's just kind of the nature of this. You know what, actually, let me have this back. Kind of want a little bit more. Of our darker color in here. Oh, you know what it is? I think the fair portion of the craft fair is over. And now they're down to the last remaining food vendors that might be hanging on for the remainder of the square dancing competition. That's probably why the loud vehicle quota has gone up here. Because in years past, they've been doing that under lights until it's gotten dark, so on the last day of the competition down there. I guess it depends on how many teams were registered, though. I will say, some years it feels like there's more teams than others. Alright, now we'll take some of this green guy here. Start to get this one worked into here. Alrighty. This looks so much brighter on that, like, darker, not really an olive green, but I guess maybe a darker leaf green, we'll call it. The bag of poofs didn't come with a color guide, so it's kind of, oh, this shade. Or you're kind of just guessing. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm just grabbing a little bit of that, like, lime flesh green, I guess, is what we've named it. Work on getting that. Kind of, sort of. Put into place. don't really think I want it quite that long though, so let's go ahead and carefully snip that off. Alright, I'm gonna pop this guy up once again. And just see how we're getting along here. The back's definitely filling in. I mean, you can see where we've added our grass in. I mean, the back doesn't really matter because we're not displaying the back, but I mean, you can see progress happening back there. And we've had a bit of progress happening in here. I think I want to add a little bit of our mid-range green on the edge of this, because this seems to be kind of sticking out here. A little bit more in your face than I'm looking for on that. So look at that kind of worked in. All right. But I'm happy with how this has lifted back up a bit, so I was worried about that. Oh, let's not A, electrocute ourselves, and B, snap that on the microphone. Let's not do that. That wouldn't be a fun time. I got the needle caught on the metal outer mesh there. Okay, so this is going to be one of our fussy sections in here where we just kind of have to fuss it back and forth a bit. Till we get it to where we're happy. But again, we don't want to lose all of our dark brown and highlights on our rocks and stuff. So don't get too carried away. Don't get too fussy. So, I mean, while you'd be able to get them back in, it would be a little bit of a pain to do it. I mean, it wouldn't be like impossible. It would just involve grabbing more dark brown and getting that in there and then doing more of the highlight color on top, and then you might have to add in a little bit more grass around the edges just to sit the rocks down in there. So not impossible, just, you know, inconvenient, I guess we'll go with. Alright, so I'm just grabbing that, like, kind of darker leafy green that we picked up. kind of wanted a little bit of a darker green sitting in this one spot in here. That looks a little bit better. I mean, we still got a little bit of where that's in there. Alright, I want to bring some something on up into there. I don't know if I want it to be the dark green or the mid-range, but I feel like I need a little something something. Right in that spot, just a little bit. Definitely need something in that spot that kind of opened up here. That one just kind of looked like a hole, and I'm like, no, that's not it. Alright, let me grab a little bit more of this fluff in here. Let's see if this helps with that little weirdness that was happening on up in there. Alright, yeah, that kinda helped tone that down a little. Maybe we'll grab more just to connect those two patches a bit better. Because it's funny how the light and the camera are perceiving how that looks. Actually looks a bit different on the camera than how I'm seeing it in front of me. But I mean, I guess that's fine. It kind of looks like it's a little overgrown in there, so that should be alrighty. Alright, let me see. I thought I snipped you. Maybe I used all of you. Oh no, I didn't. There you are. There it is. Alright, so let me get this dark green guy kind of put in here along the edge. As best as I can. Probably gonna need to bring some of that middle green up into here. Just to kind of help that along. Sorry, I just suddenly had a vision of this needle stabbing my knuckles. I'm like, I should move my hand. Probably not the best spot to be sitting. Alright, so I think we're gonna have to pause there for today because my neck's starting to have had enough and I'm gonna have to go get dinner sorted here shortly. But I think we've done some pretty decent progress today. We got our waterfall laid in. We started to get our water laid in so that we could get the bottom of the waterfall sorted out. And we still might have to come back in and add some little more splashy guys over in here, and that's fine. We probably will. It's just I wanted to get this grass section put in here, and I think I might need to add a little bit more grass or maybe rock or something right along the edge there. But I think we've definitely made some decent progress today. I don't know how many more sessions we have. Maybe 3, 4 at the most, I'm thinking. It depends really on how long it takes us to fuss the rest of the grass in and stuff. It could surprise me and it could be more than 4. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely, I feel good about where we're sitting. Yeah, this side's all wonkified too, but we'll get there. We can always retrim that and make that a little bit straighter if we have to. But thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope your work week goes smoothly for you. And next stream day is going to be on Thursday. And we'll be doing WoW challenges, World of Warcraft, Bloodthirsty challenge, and Working Man challenge leveling. I left us with about 5 to 6 bars to go on that warrior, so because they're the last Bloodthirsty left, so we can kind of spend some time on them on stream. And I think I started the Working Man, but we still have a good chunk of gathering to do on them. Friday will be Planet Zoo, and we'll get back to work on our new entrance area, trying to figure that whole mess out. And because we still have a long way to go. We got a lot of landscaping. We still have to put the entrance building together, and I was thinking of maybe doing a covered bridge over to the boat docks or whatever. So we still have a bit of work to do over there, to say the least. And Saturday there won't be a stream, and then next Sunday and Monday we'll be doing art again. So thank you guys very much. Don't forget to check out and follow the Twitch. Follow here definitely, because then you'll know when I go live. Follow the YouTube channel. Most of the live streams get archived over there. YouTube channel is NiseyBGN. Should be a link down below in the about section. And then we also have the Kofi for those that don't want to donate through Twitch, because I know there are some. And Kofi's going to go through PayPal. And we also have an Instagram, but we don't have a whole lot on Instagram. I'm not like doing selfies every 5 minutes. I'm not that type of person. So I'm just kind of posting some of the art as we get it worked on. And then we have the Etsy shop too. There are some Bob Ross painted magnets still available. And we have a couple of our needle felted projects that we've done already up there as well. So, again, that's going to do it for today. I hope to see you guys on Thursday. And until next time, have a good one.